Boom. And we're live. Okay. So, welcome. This is the first Glamour Prism podcast. Um, I got my guest here, Rongi Pongi, if I'm saying that
Rongi
right.
Pongi.
Yeah, I know. I got it wrong. I got it wrong on the stream, and I'm still getting it wrong. So it's Rongi Pongi. Okay, I got it. I got it. So what are we here for, man? What are we doing this? Why are we doing this? This is it's a brand new podcast. Um, you know, you can tell by the title, we're the Glamour Prism podcast. So we're going to be talking about glamour, right? It's something most people don't normally talk about, right? Most people are into like savage raids and we get a lot of like news updates and things like that, and that's all great, but nobody really talks about glamour. Everybody kind of like,
That's the end game.
yeah, it's the real end game, right? The true end game, exactly. So, you know, and nobody's talking about it, but so we're gonna be the ones talking about it. We're gonna be that podcast. All right.
It's
So let me give you guys, a little bit of introduction about who I am. Um, I'm Zetsume Sunarashi on the Ether Data Center. I'm on Sargatanis. I've been playing this game for far too long. Yeah, I've been playing since 1.0. Um,
wow.
I was in the alpha test of 1.0. That's how long I've been playing this game. So um, so yeah. And why don't you tell them a little bit about what you're doing here, Rongi, and a little bit about
Sure.
our mutual involvement.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Rongi Pongi. I'm not using my Rongi Pongi voice at the moment, but it kind of sounds like this. I guess. I don't know. I have a cold, so welcome to another cycle of Yours is Next Top Model.
I like that voice better. I think you need to do that voice the whole time.
The whole time?
The whole time.
Hard.
No, no,
I
no,
know in the
no, no,
original
no, no, no.
cycle
Just,
too, they're like,
just,
"Who's that
just do
talking? Oh, it's Rongi."
it. So,
So I started Eorzea's Next Top Model, gosh, 4 years ago. And what it is, it's basically a screenshot contest. I choose like 12 to 14 models each cycle, and I give them different themes each week, and they take pictures, and our judges are determining who's the strongest and the weakest gets it home until we've won.
right. So, and it's
Mm-hmm.
it's been how many years have you been doing this? You think?
Or
It's
the first cycle started when a Hullbreaker Isle released.
right, right. So, and
Remember
I,
when that dungeon came out?
oh yeah, that old thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I recall you first started out on the official forums. Is that correct?
We sure did.
And you've branched out since then. So how's the competition looking these days?
Right now, we are on three different mediums. We've got our official forums. Unfortunately, we kind of I don't want to say the word is we outdid our welcome, I guess. We were posting each round as a separate thread, and so people started getting a little upset with us. So we ended up keeping it to one thread, but even that made people mad. So we ended up switching to the Tumblr medium in cycle 5, I believe, and continued on Tumblr. And then we have the YouTube edition, which I host. That's why everyone knows my voice. And we just started the Instagram edition. So we've currently got 3 editions going on right now, man. It's crazy.
That is crazy. It's pretty big. It's pretty big now, right?
Which one were you on, Setsume?
I started out on cycle 8 on Tumblr.
Yes. It was your
So
first cycle to compete, and I think you won that one,
I
didn't you?
did win that one. I don't know.
Congratulations.
It was yeah, it was pretty crazy. I followed the competition ever since the beginning. I thought it was a pretty cool thing. People just taking screenshots, and a lot of them are like really good, right?
Mm.
And and I was in, that was something I was into at the time as well, but I was kind of just like keeping to myself, and I had like my screenshot folder with thousands of screenshots that nobody else got to look at except for me, and I was like,
Right.
well, that's not right, right? So I felt like, I should be out there sharing my stuff too. So,
Oh
so
my.
I made a Tumblr account and I started posting on there, and, I just, I found um you guys were on there too. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it and we'll see how it goes. And
And you won.
yeah, and I ended up winning. So that was pretty great. And
Congratulations.
it was a lot of fun too, a lot of fun. Um, and joining the Discord with everybody, got to meet new people, and everybody's really friendly, and it's just a really good community to be in, I think.
I
So,
think that one of the biggest misconceptions is that we're like based on reality TV, so we all hate each other and we fight and we're all catty. But we're not. Like, if you actually stick around in the community, like these are people that I've called friends for the past 4 years. Like, Rena from Cycle One is still my friend. We talk, all the time.
hmm.
Two is still here. I just ran into Stardust from Cycle One. She messaged me on Instagram. Like, we're a great community. We're all friends. And even if you get eliminated first, like, you always can come back. And, well, at least my cycles are elimination. The other cycle isn't. The one that you were in wasn't an elimination cycle.
Yeah, yeah,
Eliminated, just stick around and you can make friends with people.
hmm. Yeah, I was a little scared of the elimination style, so I went to Tumblr like a chicken. So, but no, no,
So,
like yeah, all the cycles are good. I find the YouTube one to be my favorite personally because it's more
you.
you get the voice acting, and
Right.
it's really produced very well. If you guys haven't
Thank you.
seen it, I definitely recommend checking out Rongi's YouTube channel and watching those
There's two because
episodes.
I forgot the password to the first one. But just look up Rongi Pongi and two channels will pop up. You can watch Cycle 1 and 2 on the first one and Cycle 3 on the second.
Yep, yep, yep.
Yes,
So
because you're a past winner, before we move on, who is your favorite past winner other than yourself?
my favorite past winner. Wow, that's hard.
They're all so good, right?
Right. I mean, I can't. Like I said, I came in cycle 8, so I don't. I honestly can't recall all the winners, but I do remember a lot of the competitors.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the ones I personally remember. Were a lot of the ones from the competition that I was in, and a lot of
Oh,
them
your
were
friends.
a lot of them were really good competitors.
Such a safe answer, you guys. Ja,
Well,
if you hadn't won, who did you think was going to win? How about that one?
oh man, looking back, it's been so long now. It's been like over a year. Um, I had a lot of fun with Metaligo. I don't know if I'm saying her name right.
I think you are.
She was pretty fun. Man, it's it was just a lot of fun, man. Like I can't honestly even think, like, there was just there were times where I really thought I was going to lose, like people's screenshots. Like, I had to try really hard. um I spent hours and hours, like, just waiting for weather and stuff, and, like, just trying to find the right angles and everything. And because I knew that everybody else was trying hard too, right? So I couldn't slack off. And and like that experience, it's something that I think, everybody should try it at least once, because it does really improve your ability, I think, to kind of
To your
go
limits.
outside of, yeah, to try as hard as you can to go outside of your comfort zones a little bit, and the themes too. um doing stuff that you probably normally wouldn't think to do, you know what I mean? That was really fun for me as well. So
Mm-hmm.
so
See
but
that
yeah,
Hullbreaker Isle was the dungeon that inspired ENTM, but it actually didn't appear in the cycle until cycle two.
yeah. That is one thing
Fact.
I wanna ask you about too. Like, why did you start this competition? Like, what was your motivation?
Gosh, I just remember running Hullbreaker for the first time and thinking, this is such a beautiful game. Like, Square Enix has poured so many resources into making something just show it off in a way that I don't think has ever been done before. And I just started shouting in Ul'dah and Mordona when it was, like under construction. I found 11 people that were not freaked out by my shouts because I originally was shouting for 4 pictures. I shouted for a picture in the forest, Starry Night, a picture for Nation Pride, and then the Bikini Beach shot. And so everyone was like, dude, that's really creepy. There's this guy shouting for bikini shots of girls. At the time, it was only a girls only cycle because I was, really basing on the show. Dude, you're so creepy. And I'm like, I swear to God, this isn't a weird thing. Like, this is me just trying to start up Eorzzia's Next Top Model.
Right,
I
right.
found 11 girls to be a part of it. And, the rest is history. And I think it's grown so much. Like, we're no longer showing, like, when we first started, we had, no G pose at all.
Oh yeah,
So people to like turn the camera and like twist it around to get angles on things, and our glamour options were like nothing.
right. Yeah, it used to be a lot tougher back then. Like I recall like we didn't have like G pose, so we had to use like the sun minions and stuff
Yeah, the sun
to
minion, and
get
people
to
didn't know
get
how to get it.
lighting.
We had to put on the forum how to find it.
Yep, yep. And we had
Mhm.
um what else did we have to do? We had to like target our minions to be able to get change angles and
Exactly.
stuff, and to get like an emote just in frame, man,
Mhm.
you had to spam that emote over and over again, and
Oh, right. Hmm.
you had to. It was so tough, like because you had to type in the emote or set it to your hotbar, and
Hmm.
um then you had to like close your UI, right? So
Hmm.
you had to type your emote, quickly close your UI, and then hope that you just got just the right frame to get that screenshot in,
Exactly.
man.
Gosh, I
And
don't know how the first 5 cycles of models did this.
oh man, yeah, it was pretty tough back in the day. Like people don't know how good G pose is. Like I love G pose. Like
New players have it easy.
yeah, it really is like you don't know how good you got it.
Right. So,
all you guys doing the cycles now, it's
yeah.
like think
That was cool for Rena. I think Rena once was the runner-up of Cycle One, so she's and Maxwell too. Maxwell is currently competing in the YouTube Cycle Three, but they both started in cycles without all that stuff, and now they're coming back to compete in these new cycles. And Rena ended up winning hers, and currently Maxwell is in the top four. So it's like even without the skills they did super good, and now with the skills they're doing even better. So it's like really cool to see.
nice, nice. So
Mhm.
let's see here. Let's talk a little bit about you know like why did we you know start the different platforms like um we have Tumblr, we have YouTube, we have Instagram now, and they all have kind of different rules and different things they do.
That's right.
So why don't you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. I'm always looking for ways to innovate what we've done. Cycle one and cycle two are very successful, so I was ready to move to the YouTube medium. And a guy named Tyrion took over for us as host for the forum cycles, and I moved on to YouTube. And then after YouTube had 3 successful cycles, I again wanted to move on, so I've moved on to Instagram. We've done this, the rules have changed for each one. So, like you said, our Tumblr edition has no eliminations. So you get to compete, but at the same time, you don't have to worry about, getting eliminated and not being able to compete anymore. That's a really big advantage of it. One of the disadvantages, you only see the winner of each round. You don't get to see your placements as for second or third. Sometimes models feel like, crap, I'm not winning each week, I'm going to lose. But really, it's a collection of points over all the rounds. So models don't have to worry about getting first each week. They just have to constantly place high each week to win the overall cycle, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's very true. I remember when I was competing that, I didn't win all my rounds. I only won a few of them, but because of the point system, um, I ended up getting, I ended up still winning. So
Mm.
you don't have to win every time to end up winning everything. You know what I mean? Which is a nice thing.
Yeah.
And I like the Tumblr cycle a lot because it felt more relaxed. Because like you said, you don't have to worry about being eliminated, and you get to do all the rounds and all the themes and everything. So you get to participate all the way to the end, no matter what. So I thought that was pretty nice. Um,
Another really good thing about the Tumblr edition is it's week to week. So you actually get judges' critiques, and then from there you can grow and you can learn what certain judges like and certain judges don't like. And you can change your style and grow each round.
right. It's a really good platform, I think, for improving your skill. If you're just starting out and you want to compete, I think the Tumblr is really a good place to start. So
I always joke that the Tumblr cycle is story mode, and then the YouTube edition is hard mode.
yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. So okay, so there's different rules. In the YouTube one, you can be eliminated, but we still don't allow any kind of like photo editing or anything like that. Is that correct?
Yes, this is something that's completely new for the Instagram version. The Tumblr and the YouTube edition don't allow reshade, they don't allow Photoshop editing, and they don't allow mods or anything like that. You can only use what the Square Enix has provided to us in game. And I was, just browsing Instagram, and everyone was like using reshade and photoshopping their images. So I was like, you know what, for the Instagram cycle, I want to try something new. So that's why the Instagram cycle is the only cycle, and it will be for the foreseeable future that allows editing like that.
Yeah, yeah, and definitely like you go around the community to the different social media platforms and like Twitter and Instagram and places like that, and you see these really high quality images that
Mhm.
people are using reshade and Photoshop and stuff like that, and they're coming out with really like beautiful images. And another thing too that's gotten real big recently is mods. Like um,
Mm.
there's a lot of different mods you can do, and some
Mhm.
of them like they just straight up, um, you know, people make their own um, like outfits, basically their own glamours.
Beautiful
Um,
outfits. Yes, beautiful glamours, beautiful hairstyles, everything.
right, and it's really interesting to see what people come up with. And it's something that it ranges from straight up original outfits to just editing existing outfits in the game, to correct things that Square Enix maybe should have done right the first time but didn't. Like one I can think of off the bat is like the Queen Trell's skirt. A lot of tops that you put on it, it'll make the
Mhm.
skirt disappear entirely. So people have
Mm.
actually modded to where that doesn't happen. So
Mm.
people are pretty creative with the modding these days, and it's pretty big now. There's it's gotten to the point where there's almost nothing that can't be done with mods. But you know, and it's I don't know if people are familiar with them, but basically they're just client side mods. So the stuff that you see when you use a mod, it's only visible to yourself. Like other people won't be able to see it. So me personally, like I don't use mods because of that reason. Like I don't I want people to be able to see what I'm doing with my glamour. You know what I mean?
Show off your work, yeah.
Right, right, right. So, and social media is a way to do that. but
Mm-hmm.
it just doesn't feel, it doesn't feel real to me. So I just don't do it. But so I don't know. What do you think?
I think that when I first discovered Instagram, mods were a really exciting thing for me to see because again, I love screenshots. It's all I do is look at screenshots from Final Fantasy 14 all day long. But after we got the amazing pleasure to work with so many different communities, they've all said like, we really can't advertise things with mods because it's against Square Enix's wishes. And so I understand that. So our Instagram cycle actually auditioned with the rules that you can use mods. Like it was a big, this is the first time ever in ENTM history that you can use mods. All the models cast and we talked about it. They're like, we don't really like to use mods either. So I think that as a community, we've realized that mods are beautiful and unique, but they really go against the game that we love, and so we've kind of turned away from that.
Do you
These
think
are
that
amazing.
do you think that Square Enix is aware of the modding community and how expansive it is? Do you think they realize that people are making these outfits and possibly even taking inspiration from some of what people have come up with?
I hope they are. I can't pretend to say I know what they're thinking, but I've heard that they don't like it. But a lot of the stuff that people are producing is just amazing to look at. I hope that we do get to see a lot of it in game one day.
Yeah, a lot of the third party stuff is in the past Square Enix has kind of taken a stance of as long as it's not bothering anyone, it's okay. Just kind of don't ask, don't tell kind of thing. That was their stance. That's their stance a lot of times with things like the parsers, right? Like everybody uses parsers to see what their DPS is when they're doing rating and stuff like that. But just don't. As long as you
I
don't,
don't. I don't raid. I'm sorry,
right?
guys.
That's okay. That's okay. Um, I didn't raid for the longest time either. I didn't raid in Heaven's Word at all. I just recently got back into raiding for
Start raiding in
Stormblood.
the next expansion when Blue
So
Mage is released.
yeah, but anyways, yeah, like they usually kind of just look the other way when it comes to these kind of things, and that's how they've kind of been allowed to exist. And I do think that they're aware that these things exist because we have Reddit. A lot of people post their stuff on Reddit, and Square Enix does read Reddit. So I'm pretty sure they're aware that the mods exist. I wouldn't be surprised if they have accounts in like some of the big discords and stuff, and looking at what people are coming up with. So I personally think it's a good thing that the mod community exists because hopefully Square Enix will take note of the things people are doing, and take that and go back to their developers and use some of these ideas in the future when they're thinking of new things to do with Glamour. Um, and in the meantime, like people are going to keep making awesome stuff. So you know, I don't think that community is going away. And if you're a mod developer, you know, keep doing your thing, man, because that stuff to me it's awesome. Like I love just going through the mod discords and just looking at what people come up with.
Mm.
I've seen so many things like, and it gets to like people just like to screw around too. Like people have come up with like I saw somebody riding around on a Thomas the Train mount. It was, and I
Oh,
laughed
that's
my ass
awesome.
off. Yeah,
That's so nostalgic.
yeah. So yeah, it's awesome. So um,
Talk about Reshade for just a second. Like Reshade has like blown my mind with his Instagram cycle. We're only 2 rounds in,
mhm.
but already I've seen so much like lighting and shading, and I'm just like dying over here. It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Reshade's really good. It's one of those things that they've also commented on. Square Enix has actually come out and made statements on Reshade, and they're completely fine with it because it doesn't
Thankfully,
it
thank
doesn't
you.
actually it doesn't actually affect the game at all. It just like it doesn't modify any files. It doesn't mess up anything. It's just basically putting a filter over your game window
Mhm,
to kind of enhance things. And
mhm.
so if you're a person that uses Reshade, you know, I wouldn't worry at all. So
Yeah,
and
that's why we had no problems with that. For we're working with new communities, they're like, "Girl, use reshade all you want." I'm like, "Yay!"
yeah, the only reason they're kind of, you know, iffy about the mods is because you're actually manipulating the game files, and that's something they don't they're not always kosher with. You know what I mean? So
I hate for somebody to see, an Eorzea's next top model round and think, "Oh, that game is so awesome! I can't wait to get in the game and see that." And then they get there and be like, "Hey, that's not in the game. Why?" Like,
right,
I'd hate to be part of that. So
right.
it's
So
completely that.
so yeah, you know, and with that, you know, a lot of the screenshots that people come up with, you know, they do enhance things a lot, and so um, and I want to talk a little bit about the reasoning why people do that. Why do we feel the need to enhance our screenshots? Like why isn't the game itself just good enough? Like what makes a screenshot really like high quality in your opinion?
Mm. I think again inspired this whole screenshot competition for me. So the game is already absolutely beautiful, but what I'm seeing now in with on Instagram and through the Instagram cycle is that the lighting has a way to tell a story completely different from what any of our past cycles have ever been able to tell. And now that we have GPOs and a whole bunch of filters out there, I'm seeing that as well, of course, in the newer cycles on Tumblr. The lighting is crazy. The way that it can make you feel something.
Yeah, I think that's really important. I also think like the colors. Like I always say, I like bright colors.
Like Pink Girl.
Yeah, that is probably one of my more go to dye colors, the pastel pink. So, but that I don't know. That's just me. What what about you? What you got a favorite dye color there?
I think all my glamour dyes are blue, like dark blue.
Yeah.
I'm really stuck on dark blue, but I look so good in white. I think my icon right now is Rongi in a white suit, isn't
Um. Yeah.
it? Is that what it is? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Um. Yeah.
Obviously,
You've got that tux on that you've always got on.
yeah,
So
that's my hosty outfit.
yeah. So
I was loving the bandana that you put over your eyes. That was my glamour for a while there.
oh, which bandana? I'm trying to
Gosh,
think.
what is it called? It's the one that covers both your eyes. And I'm a summoner, so I was like, I see through my avatar.
Yeah, yeah. There's so many good glamours out there, man. I can't. I change all the time. Like I and that's one thing, you know. Like the glamour dresser, man. I wish they would hurry up and update that thing, because like
Commode. I can't believe they were thinking about calling it the commode.
oh yeah, that was
A
a
misstep.
yeah.
Three
But
of the people on the translation team, and so I need to remember to ask them that next time I see them.
yeah, and that
Which one of you was it that suggested commode?
mm, are speaking of that,
To,
are do you think you'll go to the fan fest? Are you gonna go to fan fest? Are you gonna meet any of the lore
oh, I
people
definitely
or
should go. I haven't even looked into when the next one is.
well, the NA one's coming up here in a few weeks, and then I think the Japanese one is one of the last ones. I think it usually goes
Mm.
North America.
Well, I definitely have no excuse. I'm
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Well, the
You like
tickets
make
the
a t-shirt.
tickets sell out pretty quick, so I don't think they've started selling the Japanese ones yet. But if you do plan on going, make sure you're on top of that because they do.
Anybody listening sees these go live, I need you to message me immediately and tell me to go.
Yeah, I think the NA ones, man, they sold out like almost instantly. Like
Mm,
people couldn't even get into the website because it like there was just too many people. By the time some people got to the website to actually load, the tickets were already gone. Like that's how
oh,
fast they
gee.
sold. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll
So
definitely go and represent ENTM guys.
yeah, I definitely
So
want to.
back to the subject at hand. What
Yeah,
makes a good screenshot?
yeah. We were kind of getting off topic there. It's okay.
So we said lighting, colors, glamour.
Yep. A lot of one thing I always look for too is the the idea of empty space. So what are we talking about when we say empty space? You know, because obviously you're taking a screenshot, and there's you got yourself in the image usually, and then there's all kinds of stuff in the background, and um, so you wouldn't think that anything would be considered empty, right? So what are we talking about when we say empty space?
Area that isn't attracting attention.
Right. It's to me, it's like anywhere in your image that there's just not anything too interesting going on. Like it could be, you got a lot of like just flat ground, or an area of the background that's just like repetitive, or um you know the colors, like maybe it's too dark and you can't see anything, um that kind of thing. So that's one thing that I look for. Try to eliminate that as much as possible. Make sure everything in the image is kind of interesting. It looks like it's something you intentionally put in your
Exactly.
image that you
Everything
wanted
has a
people to
purpose
see.
in it.
Right,
Mhm.
exactly. You don't want anything to kind of be just there. You want it to all be cohesive and go together. You know what I mean? So another
The
thing
hard things about Tumblr and YouTube editions is that you're not allowed to crop images. So everything you do in game has to actually lead to these empty spaces because you're not able to, edit out what you don't want. So I think you guys definitely have it harder than the Instagram models because they're allowed to crop.
right, right, yeah. So
Crop out that empty.
another thing too that I see a lot of people doing is they like to make the background like real blurry, and that can
It's
that
the editing guy.
right, like what do we call that technique? There's a term for it. I can't ever pronounce it. It's like bokeh or something like that. I don't know how to say it, but it's like it's basically the effect of your like if you're a photographer and you're wanting to make your background, um you your background is like more blurry and your foreground is in focus. Um they call that like a bokeh effect, right? So and you can achieve that in game. There's a depth of field effect in GPOs, but it's not very strong, I find. So a lot of people edit theirs in Photoshop to do that, and sometimes it can be useful, and some other times I feel like it's a little bit too like distracting. Like
It's a fine line.
right, you have to balance it. And there's a lot of things like that when you take screenshots, like you don't want your image to be too bright. You don't want it to be too dark. Um, you don't want to have like too many particle effects going on. Anything that's um, like too grainy. Like a lot of times people edit um, like the sharpness of their image, and it makes the image like real grainy. That's one thing, you want to watch out for. Um, but overall, like when I'm taking a screenshot, I just try to, um, I try to look for things that just, when I look at it, I just think, man, that's that's awesome. Like it's kind of a lot of it is sort of up to your own um, like perspective, like what you think looks nice. But there are things that definitely stand out when it comes to editing a screenshot. So, and we do have a lot of tools now to be able to achieve a lot of those things in game. So it's really nice what Square Enix has done um, to support the like screenshot community.
I know, right? They've gone completely out of their way to like make ENTM better. Like I think it's only for us. They know who we are, and these are all for us.
Right, right, right. I think some
Delete something.
people,
I'm like, thank you.
yeah, it really is crazy. Like to think that you know, our community has gotten to be so big because in part I think to the support we've gotten from the developers. So like for example, you think of games like World of Warcraft, competition for 14, and you go there and they don't have anything close to what we have, man. Like they only like a few years ago added there's like an item you can click on and it'll do like a selfie mode, and it'll basically just change your camera angle to make it look like your character's taking a selfie. But there's nothing like what we have. Like there's no um like G pose mode where you can edit the lighting, and like we not only can we edit the lighting, but we can have three sources of lighting, you know and that's
Mm-hmm.
like and that's not even counting like stuff you can do like in your house. Like the stuff I've seen people do with housing to take screenshots is insane. Like I the most insane thing I think I've seen is people take like their housing walls and dye them green, so they have like a green screen in their house,
Oh, I know. Isn't that awesome?
and they use that to sort of like superimpose their characters into like wherever, right? Like I've seen
Right.
pictures of like people's characters like out in real life, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really crazy. And like we have like spotlights we can put in our house to add additional light sources, and a lot of people use those um, to do their screenshots as well. Um, like people are so creative in how they take their screenshots in this game, and the tools we have are really just so powerful. Um,
Yeah. Square
really,
Enix definitely
really,
knows their audience.
yes, and that's one thing I wanted to talk about too is um, like everything that we have in this game is sort of like we people always make the say make the joke of like glamour is the true in game, right? Well, it kind of is because you know um
Apparently.
because like the content in this game, it just cycles through so often, right? So the only thing with any kind of lasting value is the appearance of your gear, right? Because your stats are going to be outdated so quickly, right? Your item levels are constantly going up, and the only real value left is the glamour, right? So to me, like saying glamour is the real end game is completely accurate, because the whole motivation for a lot of people to even do anything is solely um, you know, in entrenched in just, I want to have that piece of gear as
Right.
as a piece to use in outfits, right? So um, it's just, and the crazy thing is that a lot of people don't see it that way. Like a lot of people say, "Well, I'm done with Savage Rating, so there's nothing to do in the game," you know. And to me, that's crazy. That's insanity, right? Like, there's so much more that people do, and
Mm.
you look at places like Balmung, right? Balmung is like the most populated server in the game, right? And all those people do is roleplay all day long. They're just um, making their own game in a sense. You know what I mean? Um, and that community as well um, has even expanded to, like, they have two servers now, right? They have Balmung, and now they have Mateus as well, and those are like the two most populated servers in the game. So to say
Matthias
that
or Matthias?
I I don't know how to say it, man. Come on.
I always say Matthias. I was so shocked to hear it say a different way.
So yeah, I don't know. I call it Mateus, or yeah. So I don't know how you say it. Somebody
That
correct
was a
me.
fun battle too when she came out
Oh yeah, and
with bubbles and swirly snows.
what was it? The Rabinaster, was it?
Yes.
Or was it? I can't even think of those raids, man. Those are two pieces of content right there. The 24-man raids that I didn't even participate in it, man. Like I did it like one time,
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
I just did not care for those outfits at all. The evil EC and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's when it's so.
Like, I don't know. Maybe some people like it, but I didn't like it. You know. So I
Mm.
and I honestly can't stand 24 man. It's like people just it's always a freaking nightmare. It takes so long, you know.
I feel like I'm part of that problem, and I apologize.
No. It's all good, man. It's all good.
That's why I just organize ENTM and don't actually ever play the game anymore.
No,
Play through you guys.
yeah. So and so you're a perfect example of the type of player I'm talking about, right? Like you're a big part of the community, but you don't really participate in a lot of the actual like game content, right? But that doesn't
Exactly.
necessarily mean that you don't play the game or you don't enjoy the game. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I think
So
Square Enix has created something that everyone can take from it what they want, and they can enjoy it in however way they want, and it's great. I love it. So I've been playing for. I think I'm on my fifth year.
yeah, I mean, and that's kind of the crazy thing too. Like Um, a lot of people, the like ever since we've started playing this game, like the basic content formula hasn't really changed much, but yet, um, like the community still keeps getting bigger. Like, and people, so people are sticking around um, through the, the basic like cycle, right? Like, and a lot of people say it gets old, it gets boring, but we're all still here, right? And I think a big reason for that is because we find our own ways to enjoy the game, right? And your contest is an example of that. And all the different like um, players that just they do what we're doing, like they have Instagram accounts or Tumblr accounts, and they're on social media, and they're making their own enjoyment, you know what I mean? And that's something that I don't think gets talked about a lot. um, and I think that's a big reason of this podcast, right? Because I really believe that you know it's like Square Enix has created this environment like this playground for us to really just, take what we're given and sort of make it our own. You know what I mean? And
It really is like that, isn't it?
yeah, and yeah, you can do the follow the basic content formula and just get your weekly tomes and get your item level upgrades and be done. And there's a lot of people that do that, but um like me personally, like that stuff is all like it's all like secondary to me, like I always find
Course.
ways to keep myself occupied, you know what I mean? and
Mm.
and this kind of thing is just another part of that, you know what I mean? So, but anyways, so um was there anything else you really want to touch on? We do have a guest that we're going to bring on the show today as well.
Dude, I'm so excited.
So yeah, we're gonna one of our we're gonna bring on one of our contestants from the current Tumblr cycle. Is that correct?
Yes, they are 2 weeks away from crowning their winner,
So
and someone is online now. So let's introduce her.
all right, so we're gonna take a quick break, and then we will bring her on, and so we will be right back to
Right back.
bring you our guest. All right,
Hey. See you.
and we're back.
Hello.
Ranji,
All right, is that me? Sorry. All right, I'm going now.
go ahead, man, go ahead. You
All
got
right,
this.
welcome back to the Glamour Prism podcast. We have a very special guest with us from the Tumblr cycle.
Hello. How is everyone?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. Introduce
Looking
yourself.
forward to a day. I am Ona Greene. I'm the one of the models in the Instagram cycle, not Instagram, sorry, Tumblr cycle 10. And I'm super excited for the results after next week to see how everyone did.
And soon.
Yes. Well, I don't think I'm gonna win. There have been some really strong images week to week, but I really hope that I just, I want to do well. I want to continue to grow. So place doesn't really matter to me this time since it's my first time through, but just to do well and I really am excited for all the models. So
Oh, well, I wish you a lot of luck. You've been doing super well so far from week 1 till now.
thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. What's been your favorite photo shoot so far?
So far, it's been the Caught in the rainstorm. I think it was Dark and Stormy is what it was called. I really love rain. Just in general, I have a real life connection to the healing powers that rain has. So that was fun to kind of capture what I would feel like my personal self did in that image.
Mhm.
So really cool.
Oh, cool. That was a really great shot. I think it's going to inspire a future round. I loved the
Thank
doorway
you.
you had there.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're so welcome. I think Zetsme has a question for you too.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking over your images here. So this is your first time joining the Tumblr cycle.
Yes.
So you know, um, so you said you're not going to win. I mean, come on, you can't say that. So why?
Well, I am very much the person who I'm a realist. So if I haven't won to like any rounds to this point, I'm of the thought process that do your best moving forward. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but like I know everyone else is like, I'm gonna win, and I'm just like, I'm gonna do my best.
Oh,
Right. Well, it's not about winning, right? It's about putting yourself out there and showing off, your style of screenshots and your own, personality, and
Mhm.
taking in the feedback from the judges, and ultimately improving yourself and your own screenshots and hopefully you get some kind of enjoyment out of that, right?
Oh, absolutely. And you are completely correct. I mean, it is about your own personal growth in the images and your time spent. I mean, I've really enjoyed the whole time, and I laugh because I look back at my audition shots to now, and I'm like, wow, so much growth in so short amount of time.
Right.
And I want to keep growing, and I want to keep inspiring, other images, and being able
Mm.
to take fun pictures for, my friends in game and everything. And yeah, keep growing and keep learning who I am and my style. So yeah, it is exactly that. And I am loving every single week and loving to see what all the other models put out. So
Right. So before the break, me and Ranji were talking about how, um, there's a lot of content in the game, and
mhm,
there's sort of this content cycle that happens, and it's kind of the same thing over and over again, but yet somehow, people like us, we sort of make our own content, right? So
mhm,
that whole cycle of raids and tombstone farming and item level
mhm.
increasing, like 10 15 every patch or whatever, it's it's there, but it doesn't really impact our enjoyment, right? Like, because we make our own content, right? Um
Absolutely.
so would you agree with that, like, you kind of,
Oh,
when you play the game, do you sort of just go through the motions of doing all that stuff, or do you kind of like just kind of do your own thing?
it's a mix. So I know my in-game wife, she likes to, she's focused on endgame. But she also knows that I'm not always going to run dungeons and raids and stuff with her. So I often find myself role playing with my FC mates, running around Limsa and handing out cookies to people. Um, I'm basically known on Goblin as the person who will randomly run up to you and give you a cookie and then run away and then joke spam
Oh
you.
man, I've
Like,
had that happen to me before, so you,
it's
that
fun.
must have
I
been
mean,
like your
honestly,
alt or something on
Yeah.
Sargatangs.
it could have been. I don't know. But that's just, to me, that's more fun to create a happy environment where everyone is included. We have like the FC that I'm one of the leaders of. We're very small, but we really want to have everyone grow. So our two of our people are extreme role players, and I know that when they're on, I role play with them. And it's more fun to me to build a community, to have people enjoy their escape from reality. And
Right.
if there's a need to run a dungeon or a raid, I'll run it, but don't expect me to be serious throughout it too. I mean, I'll
Mhm.
I'll, I'll miss the AoEs and stuff, but I'm gonna also be goofing around, so I
Right.
might dance well.
It's all about having fun, right?
Exactly.
So curious, you mentioned role playing. So like,
Mhm.
a lot of people, when they think of role playing, they kind of meme on it and say it's like ERP, and all you're doing is, you know, cybering in the quicksands, right? So so wanted I hope you can just comment on that a little bit, and just tell people like what kind of role playing you do, like what kind of
Well,
stories you guys come up with.
yeah. So I mean, My role play is basically like I'll join whatever is going on. So if I run up and I hear one of my friends, you know, doing whatever role play they have, I'll jump in and I'll be like, oh, hey, well, I want to join, and like, I want to do this too. Who are we fighting? Where are we finding them? I also have a friend who, in game, it started out as a joke, but that, I had said something and they responded with, okay, mom. And then someone said, is that really your mom? And we went with it. So now he is my in-game, he just fantasized. So, or Fantasia, to a male. So he always is like, mom, out, and whenever we see each other. And then there's this ongoing storyline there. He just got married, and his husband now came to ask for my hand, things like that. So we join in wherever it is. It's not there's I've never ERP'd, and I don't want to ERP. I don't think that, I mean, like, personally, I'm like, no, I'm good.
Right.
But,
Like that
like,
Clean
that's
fun.
their own thing. They want to do that, that's fine. It's not me. But
that
I've
that
never
kind
done
of
it.
that kind of stuff
Yeah.
is really, it's not the mainstream, right? It's just like
No,
it's
it
it's
isn't.
uh it's a few weird people that do it, and a lot of people do it just because they're kind of trolling or whatever. Like they'll do
Right.
that kind of stuff, like
Right.
in shout or whatever, or
Definitely.
but it's definitely not the mainstream. A lot of it is
Oh,
like
no.
and from what I've seen, it's a lot of it is just like people writing like their own fantasy stories.
Yeah,
It's like
absolutely.
uh, like reading Tolkien in real time, right? Kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Yes.
so there's that, and and we were saying too, like the role playing, like Balmung and Mateus, they're like the two biggest servers in 14 right now, and I don't think
Hmm.
that's something that can really be ignored, right? Because a lot of people say Savage rating is like the end all be all of this game, right? But
Right.
in all actuality, like it's honestly a minority, right? Because most
I,
people
I
don't raid. So,
no.
and I
I,
think
I think I think you're right.
and I think we kind of have to recognize that, and I think Square Enix is starting to a little bit because we do get features.
Hey, Ona, are you ever gonna compete in the YouTube cycle? Do you want to role play your character in that way?
Oh, that would be so fun. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And as it is already, like it's been a lot of fun for me to even go on to the Goblin server and tell everyone, like, I'm gonna be, participating in Eorzea Next Top Model, and look at, go and vote for me, and pulling in my FC and my friends
Hmm.
to take images and set up shots for me. They've been really good about it. So
That's so
it's been
good.
fun. Yes, absolutely. So
So, and keeping with that topic of role playing, you
mhm,
mentioned like Fantasias and stuff like that.
mhm.
Is that something that you guys spend a lot of money on? Is that, do you usually stick to one character? Do you change your personas a lot? And
um
how does that, how do you think that, um, Square Enix obviously sees those Fantasia sales and like name change sales and things like that,
mhm.
and how much do you think they consider those sort of things when developing content for us?
well, I think it's from the angle of Square Enix. If I was Square Enix, I would think to give that option to change is interesting and necessary, because people get bored of a character. They might get bored of the name that they've made, or the way they look. They might want a hairstyle and it doesn't go with their current look. So having the ability to change what their person looks like, change race, whatever, is kind of interesting. And it's fun, and it definitely keeps the game present with everything. Um, for me personally, I have only ever used Fantasia once. I was a darker green overall, and all I did was lighten up my skin. So when I did that, I was able to change who I was just enough. And I really like my new character, my new character.
Mhm.
For the role playing aspect, actually, one of the main reasons, and it's going to make you guys laugh, but one of the main reasons I started playing was because my in-game wife plays, and he's actually my real life husband. And
Mhm.
she got me involved only because I said, wait, you can get married in game, and that was my drive to get to level 50. I'm not even joking, so that I could
Oh,
marry her in game and change my last name to match. So it was kind of fun. So
oh,
yeah,
you could get married all over again.
I know, it was fun, and now we get the anniversary ones, which February 4th, yay! So
Oh,
I
yes.
haven't
happy
done
anniversary.
the anniversary ceremony yet. I heard you get a new minion from that. It is
That's what I heard.
how does that work?
Oh,
Do you
I
get
don't. I'm not 100% certain, but I had to run up to where you get married at, and yeah, to talk to one of the ceremony attendants, and they were like, "Oh, okay, here you go. On February 4th, you can have your ceremony." I'm like, "Me."
Yeah. Well, like last time, they would give you the minion if you were like in the like, you know, I don't know what they call it, like the audience, I guess, but if you were actually get the one getting married, like you didn't get the minion. So, but I've
Yeah.
heard different things. I've heard you do get it, and I've heard you don't get it. So I was curious if you've done that already or not, because I want that minion, man. It's real cute. It's like a little Moogle, carrying like a basket of flowers. It's cool.
Aw.
Yeah. So I got to
I
do
guess
that
what
at
I
some
mean.
point.
Either way, I'm excited to just do the
All
ceremony
right. Well, before
and
we
have
go, we're
that.
gonna have a final quiz for Miss Ona and for
Oh
Mr.
gosh!
Dixon.
Don't do that to me.
Oh man.
I need you each to name or at least describe 3 past winners of Yours is Next Top Model.
Oh man.
um.
Let me
Ona, you go
just
first.
pull up the Discord name list here,
Yeah, right. You're a cheater.
and
How about we go with Kai? Was Kai one? I'm gonna guess.
The past model, yes.
Yeah, I got one.
Good, good.
Not Katara, but she's
I've been a
amazing.
past
So I want to
model.
hug her.
Yes,
Um,
it's been great. You're in the chat with one right now. That's an easy one.
Oh yeah, him.
yeah. Did I win? Oh, I did, didn't I? I forgot.
Oh, and we're gonna go with Ona. We're gonna go with Ona.
Yes, there we go. Good
Because I'm
answer.
gonna
That,
win this
wait a minute. Wait a minute. This is past winners. We're talking future winners
Aw,
now.
I failed. I failed.
Traveler.
Well, it will be passed once I win.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Well, if you don't win,
Well,
who
wait a
are
minute.
you
Wait a minute.
rooting for, Ona?
That's some
If I don't
mind
win,
bending
who am
shit
I
there.
rooting for? Oh, that's a good one. Okay, so if I don't win this round, who am I voting for? Honestly, I think that Rim has put out some amazing images. I really like her look. So her, or my fellow goblin, Lily. Oh,
Lily
too
saved
bad.
it. Cool. Well, good luck to everybody. I'm super excited to see how these next 2 rounds go.
Okay.
Watching you
Awesome. I'm
grow.
super excited. Yay.
Well,
Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck to you. And good
Results
luck
come
to
out
everybody.
tomorrow. Yay. Tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern
Good luck.
Standard Time.
I'll be up going to work.
Oh, okay. Well, have fun.
All right. So
All right.
we've
Join us
been
again one day when you're winning.
Okay, we'll do. Yay.
we've been going for about an hour here, guys. So I think that's going to be good for our first
Big
podcast.
first episode. Yay.
So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here.
Well, thank you.
If you guys have anything you want to say, any kind of shout outs or anything, any social media plugs, things like that,
Well,
now's
can
the
I
time
just
to do
say,
it.
I just want to say, a little shout out to my FC, A Kingdom by the Sea. We are the little tagline Poe because we are literary nerds. And I just want to say thank them for everything that they do. They're the best, and I love them.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. Thanks.
Aw.
All right. How about Rongi or Rongi? I'm sorry. I did it again.
Oh, Rongi. What's Rongi? I just want to say, everybody, please go follow our Instagram. You can find us. Just type in Eorzy as Next Top Model in Google. We'll pop up with the first result for YouTube, for Instagram, for Tumblr. So you can find us all over the place. But yeah, thanks everybody for supporting us these past 4 years, and good luck to all of the Tumblr models and all the Instagram models and the YouTube models as well.
Yay!
Yay!
All right. And I'm your host here, Zetsume Sunarashi from the Sargatana server. You can find me on Tumblr. It's just Zetsume Sunarashi at Tumblr. I don't do a whole lot of social media. I guess I should get more into it. I might make a Twitter account at some point. But right now, if you want to contact me, I got my Discord tag posted on the overlay here. It's Zetsumi number 3784, so you can get a hold of me there. So, and one thing I just, want to put out there, this is a brand new podcast. We're just starting out. I'm just starting out. This is a new thing for me. I'm very much in the learning process, so there's a lot of things that I want to improve on for the show. As far as like graphics and things like that, putting some music in, all that kind of stuff to make it fancy. Um, so this show's all about showcasing talent like that. So if you guys have that kind of skill and you wanna represent, you want to be represented in the podcast, I'm more than willing to put your guys' name out there. Another thing another idea I had was, like if you guys have fan art and stuff, like I have, just a Square Enix background here, but if you guys have fan art you want to send in that I could use as a background, that would be cool too to just have your guys' fan art showing up on the podcast every week. So there's that. Send all that stuff to me if you guys want to be a part of the podcast. Um, and yeah, so yeah, that's probably gonna be. We're gonna wrap it up there. Um, yep. So and I think that's gonna be it.
Everybody.
So
Oh,
yeah, thanks for
last
watching,
thought.
guys, and we're gonna keep trying to do this. I want to bring on more guests. If you want to be on the show, that's another thing. I'm gonna be looking for more people to come on the show. So yeah. So we'll see you guys next time.
I
Bye, everybody. Bye.